Many years ago, self-help author Debbie Ford went to a spiritual retreat feeling burnt out and lost. She spent the first day stressed out, but the beautiful surroundings and gentle pace helped ease her until she was able to enter a deep state of meditation. And while Ford was meditating, she experienced a vision of the retreat teacher telling her, "We each carry a flame. Your flame is very small. It is only a flicker." And the teacher told Ford her fire was faint, timid, and tired, that it needed fuel. And Ford, coming out of this meditative state, realized that she wanted a bright and powerful fire within. And to get her fire roaring again, she was going to have to make some really significant changes in her life. She needed to leave a situation that was crushing her spirit and find a better path. And so she did. As a Unitarian Universalist, the religious denomination with the flickering flame in the chalice as our symbol, of course, I love a story about an inner flame. For me, that is what the essence of the chalice light is. It represents the light of our life force, that spirit that lives in each being. And so today, as we consider our third principle, the acceptance of one another and the encouragement to spiritual growth, the inner fire is a good metaphor. This call to grow in spirit is a call to keep your fire burning bright, to tend that inner flame carefully and tenderly. And when I use the word spirit, I mean that special sum of all that we are. Spirit adds up mind, body, emotions, history, and experience to make your unique life force, your spirit, which is also somehow more than all the sum of its parts. Now, growing in spirit doesn't have a lot of currency in today's economy. Imagine asking your local politician to develop public policies that help people grow their spirit. It is our role as a religious community, though. And UUCM is a place that asks you to consider the state of your spirit, and I hope offers ways to help you keep your inner fire burning strong and steady. And I think this is essential work for all of us right now. In the bigness of all that is happening in the world, our inner lights can feel inadequately tiny. If you read any news at all, the news is often sad and somewhat terrifying. There's just too much to wrap our heads around, let alone find a way to integrate into the whole of ourselves. And during this past couple of years, as we live in this pandemic and through the climate crisis, there's many times when my inner flame has felt faint, timid, and tired. I know I'm not in need of big changes, but my fire certainly has needed tending. Now, fires burn when there's heat, fuel, and oxygen. It's called the chemical triangle. And in our spiritual lives, heat occurs when we are engaged and energized about our activities, when we're doing things we're passionate about, we've got things to look forward to. Fuel comes from food and sleep, but also love and shelter, when we're regularly nourished, body and soul. And oxygen comes from having time and space to be, from belonging and acceptance, not having to battle just to be ourselves, not having to fight to be heard. And our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth, points us to these spiritual necessities. We need the oxygen of acceptance in order to glow brightly. We need to accept ourselves as we are, and we need to be accepted by others. So sometimes when our inner light is low, we need to shift the logs around to let in a little bit more air. We need to have our voices heard. We need to be with people who accept us. What do you need to help your inner flame burn brightly? Do you need heat? Do you need more ways to express yourself, more places to put your energy? Do you need more fuel, more ways to nourish yourself? Would you need oxygen, more ways to accept yourself or find places to be accepted? There's a saying in the Buddhist community that when you feel too busy to sit in meditation even for 20 minutes, you should sit for an hour. If you are feeling overwhelmed, feeling pressure, that's when you especially need to take time for your spiritual life, to give fuel and oxygen to your inner flame and making space just to be and be present. For non-meditators, this might be going for a run or baking bread, escaping into a good book, talking to a good friend. Tending to your spirit helps you right-size your struggles. I had a colleague in their early years of ministry who worked 7 days a week. They were too anxious and concerned to take a day off, and so answered emails daily. And they argued that otherwise there were too many emails to deal with on Tuesday, and they just felt too far behind. After a couple of years, they burnt out and took a sabbatical. And when they returned, they began keeping a Sabbath day and stopped checking emails that day. And it turned out the email pile on Tuesday morning was entirely manageable. It wasn't the volume of work that changed, but they were able to right-size the situation. Starting the week refreshed, and work was easier to manage. And we live in disproportional times. The weather is getting extreme, so is politics. The economy is becoming extreme. Basic wages mostly stagnant while house prices are soaring. Life for the educated middle class, which is mostly what we are, is becoming less secure. It is not unreasonable to be fearful of the future, if not for yourself, for your children and grandchildren. But we know that fear smothers our spirit. Anxiety crushes us. Pressure pushes us down. It's all we can see when we're in that situation. The way all my colleague could see was their inbox looming way too large, right in front of them. Then we grow in spirit and get bigger than the fear and the sorrow and the worry and the anxiety. We can put it all back in perspective and remember that our beautiful, messy, wonderful selves, struggling as they are so much more than any one tough, difficult time. Our spirits grow and we become more resilient. It becomes easier to manage those tough situations. Now, there's times when we don't need to tend to our spirits. The flame is burning strong and we're busy going about our days. Things are going well. But there are those days when we feel that flame becoming faint, timid, and tired. And then we need to tend to ourselves. Only you will know what you need, and it may take some time to figure it out. Sometimes it's just that little shift, moving the logs around in the fire to let the oxygen in. Sometimes it's adding another log to grow it. Sometimes all you need is a listening ear. Humanitarian Albert Schweitzer wrote, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lit the flame in us." It may be that we can't get our fire to burn bright on our own. That's okay. We all need a little help. This is a tough, disorienting time, disproportional, uncertain, and tending to our inner flame helps us grow bigger than our struggles, helps us build our resiliency. Like all of our principles, these calls to actions that guide our choices, there's no one right way to live this principle in your life. Accepting one another, growing your spirit, these are practices that need to be practiced over and over again. But as you continue to tend to your inner fire, making sure you have all the heat and fuel and oxygen to keep it burning steadily, you may find over time that you feel more resilient, that you're showing signs of spiritual growth. American meditation teacher Shinzen Young suggests there are 5 signs that you have been growing in spirit. The first is that you have a lesser sense of suffering. This isn't to say that you have less pain or sorrow in your life, but that you suffer less when the tough times happen. There's less resentment, less negative judgment of the self or of others. It's easier to regain your calm. Second, life feels more fulfilling. You feel grateful for the joys and gifts of your life. You appreciate those around you. You feel that you matter. Third, insight increases. You see more and more interconnections between your life and the rest of the world. You sense that you're part of this interconnected web of wholeness. You trust yourself more and find it easier to know what to do. Fourth, healthy behaviors tend to win out over more self-destructive choices. You're kinder and more patient with yourself and others. It's easier to take good care of yourself and let go of bad habits. And fifth and finally, compassion for others comes more easily while your desire to help others increases. You seek opportunities to give back. Less suffering, more fulfillment, increased insight, healthy behaviors, compassion comes easily. Sounds pretty good to me. And I know that when my inner flame is low, I hear a list like that and feel filled with resentment. Easy for a Buddhist meditation teacher who meditates all day to be so good. And then I feel especially guilty because I'm the minister and I should exude all of these wonderful things every day. But I know that I don't. And I'm sure even the Dalai Lama can be a jerk sometimes. And really, that's one of the things I appreciate most about Unitarian Universalism, is that we are very clear that we are human beings in bodies with emotions and attitudes. We embrace the dark and light that exists in all of us. We know we're selfish and difficult at times, and that's okay because we're also magnificent and amazing and fabulous. We can be both. That's what we learn as Unitarian Universalists, to hold that both and. So that growing our spirit means we don't get stuck in our worst selves, and we also don't even get entranced by our best selves. Instead, we seek to find that way to experience the magnificence of life, whether that's the stars at night, the immensity of love, or a sense of God and the divine. And when we can get there and feel that connection, feel being held in the mystery of all that is and know that we are part of it, that allows us just to be just as we are. And we may then find ourselves suffering less, more fulfilled, and feeling more compassion. Life is tough and weird right now. Many of us are a little off kilter. And it's okay for your light to be flickering and low. And if your light is burning bright, you might be able to rekindle someone else's. Our third principle tells us that as long as we accept one another as we are, right here and right now, and keep on paying attention to our spirits, we will get through this together. I know that together our lights and the light of the chalice will shine brightly always. So say we all.